Welcome to Aging Under the North Star, your trusted podcast for aging, caregiving, and senior living. I'm your host, Veronica, and today with me I have Carly Olson of Caring Transitions. Thank you for joining me today, Carly.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy that you're here. So tell me a little bit about Caring Transitions. Our audience would definitely want to know how your services work and how they can benefit from Caring Transitions.
Yeah, so Caring Transitions is actually a franchise out of Ohio, and there are over 400 of us around the United States, and we have a really great web of network. So if people need help all over, we can make that happen. What we do is we specialize with those seniors who had been living in their house for a long time, like 60 years. And you know what's in that house, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yes,
Accumulated everything. Yes. And
exactly.
so I'm so glad you're here because you and I can work side by side. We have worked side by side on a lot of moves, but what I hear the most, and this is where you come in greatly, is the fear of losing a lifetime of belongings. And,
Yeah,
a lot of seniors, they are in an unsafe environment, trip
right.
hazards, sometimes hoarding situations, but they don't want to get rid of 50 plus years of accumulated stuff.
So
How do
true.
how do you handle this? Like when you go into the home,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I'm sure there's like a little bit of like an emotional toll that it takes on the person. How do you handle this?
Well, I am a mental health counselor, so for me, it comes naturally to kind of peel back the onion and see what's really going on. And I would say more times than not, the person actually has an underlying fear of not necessarily losing their belongings, but losing their autonomy, losing, they don't want to necessarily move. So losing their own choices as well.
Yeah, they're
And I
losing
guess
their
that is what autonomy is, but they're nervous and fearful and they're getting older and they are now facing what they thought they would never have to do in their lifetime.
exactly. I'm so glad you mentioned that because when I go in and do a consultation with families, the family members, the adult children are ready to move their loved one. They know that this isn't the right place for them. Sometimes friends too. And they'll say, this is unsafe for you. It's time for you to go. And then they get really frustrated, right? They're like, Mom, just get rid of it. But you
Hmm.
can't. This
Hmm.
is memories and this is what they work so hard for. And the last thing they want to do is get rid of it. So, what I typically tell them or ask them, I should say, when I go into a home, like you're in a 5 bedroom home by yourself with a swimming pool that you hate maintaining, you can no longer afford the pool guy. And I ask them, like, how many rooms in this house do you actually use?
Hmm.
And they're like, well, I sleep in the living room and I walk to the kitchen, I'll go to the bathroom. So really, when
Right,
you downsize from a big 5 bedroom home to either a studio or 1 bedroom and senior living, you're still only using that space. Now, when it
correct.
comes to stuff, how much of that stuff have you even touched in the amount of years, you know? So then it gets them thinking, right? So then that's when I'm able to call you because then they're at a moment where, like, okay. But a lot of seniors don't know that there are services such as yours because they always say,
True.
well, who's going to take care of this? Who's going to
Right, right,
who's going
right.
to come and do all of this? So I'm like, you're like my 911. I'm like, I got it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you help them with the overwhelming process? Walk us through that. You come into the home and tell us all about that.
So one of us on our team will do a consultation. Of course, we're all different, right? So I can only speak on when I do a consultation, but it's really getting to know the person and what do they want, And it's funny because when I walk in, they always want to know about our estate sales. They always want to know how much can they sell their stuff for, what does that look like? What can we do to help them? And honestly, we're not going to do an estate sale if they haven't moved first. We're going to move their person. We're going to make sure they have everything that they want that fits and they're happy. And then we can go back and do the estate sale as long as they don't have to sell their house right away. And if they do, there are options as well. But for the emotional part of all of this, selling things right in front of, your mom or your sister or somebody who loves these things and this is their whole life, like you said, it's pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
But the thing is about moving is what people don't think about because they're so panicked about, oh, it's this time in my life that I actually have to do this.
Hmm.
Number one, most of the time, though, that they haven't even realized how beautiful and safe and community driven these places are, right?
Yeah.
And so that's something that you can speak on is the lack of knowledge that people have on what the communities look like and feel like,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah.
And the thing is it's almost like they're stuck in a spot of with their stuff and the memories and all of this. They don't even realize like you could be moving into a vacation home. That
Exactly.
would be okay, right? Well, yeah. Okay, well, what do you think you would want your space to feel like? When your friends or the people you're going to meet are going to walk into your door, what do you want that to feel like and look like? And I'm
Yeah.
like, do you want it to feel like a thrift store, like everything's squished in? Oh,
Hmm.
no, no, no. I want to feel airy and light and comfortable, And so if you want that, and that's what's safe, and that's what your whole team, because we're a team, right? Your whole team is telling you this is the best option for you. Maybe it is.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe you can shift your thinking so that you're not stuck on the stuff. You're thinking, okay, well, how am I going to build memories in my new space?
Right. I love that. I love how you painted the picture, because a lot of, especially the person involved that has to make the transition, one, they see it as a convalescent home because back in the day there was not such thing as assisted living. That's
Exactly.
number one. Number two, a lot of them are embarrassed to have people come into their home and see all the accumulated stuff,
True.
or and they don't want to face the stuff, right? But
Right.
someone like you, and we've done this together where we can sit and talk to a person and say, listen, I'm going to help you find that place. And she's going to help you get all through all of your stuff and your belongings and your personal, treasures. And we're going to move you to that vacation home, because I never call it welcome home, because deep down, they don't want to move. Most of the time, seniors don't want to move. They want to stay in place, right? They want to age in place at home, but that's not always the case. So I always call it home away from home. So I like how you painted the picture and said, hey, this can be your vacation home, or, this isn't home, but this is like an extension. And so I think that's great because there are emotional challenges that they face when they have to let go of belongings. And so we worked with that one gentleman who had,
Mhm.
a situation at home where he couldn't take care of his home anymore, and we
Right.
found a place for him, but he definitely needed a lot of help, and it wasn't just help like movers. It was, we needed
Right.
decluttering, we needed, the whole organization, and that gave him peace of mind. And I always hear when I refer to you, families say, I didn't even know this something like this existed. I thought we had to get a dumpster and throw everything out, you know
Right. Right. Right.
and then it's like, who's going to do that, you
Right.
know? And
And do it in a way that feels respectable and a little bit of dignity, right? And that's where, my team really shines is what we have discussed as a team is we understand that when we are referred a person for this type of move, they're not their best person, right?
Mhm.
They're tired, they're stressed, they could be in pain. We don't know what they've been eating and they have vitamins. We don't know if they've been sleeping. We don't know if they've been drinking water. And so with all of this and facing the fact that you have to move into an assisted living community, I mean, this, they're not their best person.
Right.
So it's learning how to manage that and not take it personally and just be, you know, compassionate about that. I think that that's where we shine. I mean, yes, they execute the job, but a lot of people can execute the job. What
Yeah.
we do differently is we build a relationship with these people and their families. So they call us over and over again, and they don't ask for me. They ask
Right.
for my team by name, right?
That's
And
awesome.
that's what's so cool about it because then we see them, little pitch for all of the assisted living communities and independent living communities is that we see their best person. Give them
Yeah.
6 months to adjust, and we see people just thrive. Because
Yeah.
again, right, they could be sleeping better, they're eating better, they're drinking water, they're socializing, their fall risks have lessened immensely. They're not socially isolated,
Yeah,
you
for sure.
know?
Yeah.
And so that's really cool for us too. And my team thrives on that too, to see how that person went from being so adamant, I can't, I won't, I'm not that person,
Mhm.
to living their best life.
I agree with that 1000%. And I've also worked with your team. You guys are very detailed when I think someone moved from independent living to assisted living. And not only, it's not just moving, right? You
Right.
guys are specialty. You guys specialize in this, especially for seniors, but you sorted items, you packed items, you measured each apartment to see where will things fit. But not only did you do that, when you move someone from independent to assisted, you literally moved their items and made that apartment look exactly the same. I was
Yeah.
shocked. You made it look almost identical based on what you could from their independent apartment to assisted living. And that helped with that transition. It
Yeah.
really did.
Yeah.
Especially, as you get older, it's like, where are my belongings? You have brain fog, you have, memory impairments and things like that. Sometimes it's hard to adjust, but the way you made it easier for them to adjust for another move, I was just like, this is amazing. Like, do you go in there and take pictures? You have photographic memory, but they were all grateful as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something, that's peace of mind for families.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
another move. I don't have time. Okay, well, I can call Caring Transitions and their moving company and their team, and they are going to handle it. So I'm going to find the apartment for you, and they're going to just make it happen and work alongside us along the way, and everything's just going to align. And that is peace of mind for families. That's like the
Right.
thing. um so when North Star Senior Advisors helps family find the right senior living community, um, and we talked about the many benefits and how the partnership benefits the seniors and families. What if there are adult children listening right now and feeling overwhelmed? What advice would you give them to get started in the process? What advice? Let's just, mom or dad needs to move. I don't have the time. What advice would you give them if they're overwhelmed?
Well, they will be overwhelmed. That's the thing, right? We know. We've worked with so many families, and we know, number one, it is overwhelming, it's frustrating, it's exhausting, because they also know that their parents probably don't really want to move. And what are we going to do with all this stuff and this, and that? And what it comes down to is creating a team, creating a support system for you, the adult child, for your parents, and for your kids, or whatever else is going on, so that you have people to call. They're going to help and give you the information that you need. And sometimes when people call us, they might use one service
Yeah,
because they don't need all the services that we have. But we want to give them the information so they're not as overwhelmed, because that's going to be a referral to their friend to say, this company was so great. They gave me all this information of what we really needed.
right.
And so that's what I would say. I would say that in any type of big transition or every big moment in your life, it's creating the team that's going to help you be as calm as possible, working with your parents, finding the information that you need, and then being with people you can trust.
Absolutely. And, a lot of people would think if they're not going through this situation, well, I'll just call movers. But it's
Hmm.
more than that. Like, I love how you keep saying team. Our team will come in, our team will meet with you. Um, our team is going to help you with sorting. What are we sorting? What are we selling in the estate
Right.
sale you mentioned? What are we packing? Um,
Hmm.
to make that process easier. And I
Right.
really appreciate you guys for that, because anybody can use a mover. And I've worked with moving companies personally, and I remember moving from one home to another. And this is just me. And I
Hmm.
had some movers that were extremely rude. So if you're rude
Hmm.
and not patient with the um, elderly person who's moving, that's traumatic. That can be traumatic.
So traumatic. And that's, oh, so I guess we never got to that point, but that's why we created on-call moving. because Caring Transitions, the franchise, doesn't have moving as part of their concept. So most of us have to hire moving companies to support the move part of the transition. And when we started, we did not like the people that were showing up. So we
Mhm.
decided that we were going to make sure that our team, including the movers, were going to be people that we wanted to, who are going to represent our company, but not just represent the company's name and the brand, but our mission
Yeah,
and what we stand by and why we're doing this.
yeah,
You know, I didn't grow up with, I didn't say when I was 4 years old, oh my God, I want to be a mover or own a moving company, you know. Most of
right.
my friends are getting diamonds. I'm getting boxes and tape and oh, we need a new truck, you know. That's where all our profit goes,
Rewarding,
but
right?
it's so rewarding. And
I'm glad
so
you mentioned on-call moving because going back to what I was saying, I've worked with movers just me, and I'm not even like in a traumatic situation or an emotional toll, but I had rude movers. But recently I used on-call moving, and this isn't a pitch here, but it sort of is. I recently used your team. They came in, they came in, they observed and said, okay, this will take me X amount of minutes or hours or whatever. And they were so professional. I mean, it was a little move, but they like treated my items as if it was a large armoire or whatever, or a family heirloom. And it really was just office furniture, but they were so professional. And I was just like, if they're treating me this way, I'm
yeah,
so happy that they're treating our seniors this way. I
yes.
know that your team is going to take care of my people. And that's
Yeah.
important.
And we
It,
would we would invite our team into our own home. And that's
it,
what's special, you know?
yeah. Yes. They came in so professional, and most of the time I can't find that. So knowing that I'm going to work with a trusted organization such as Caring Transitions and On-Call Movers, um, families, I just want to say, like, when you're choosing to work with a company such as Caring Transition or any moving company like On-Call Movers, know that when you do an interview, know the team. What would you tell these families to look for when it comes to when making the selection for?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Because a lot of families want to go with the cheapest person, you know? And the thing is, we're not going to be the cheapest person because we are certified senior move managers. We are certified relocation specialists. So looking for those types of things with your senior move management and your transition specialist will be important. You know, we're also better business verified. So that there's those little things that separate people from the other people, but also when you interview somebody, it's about how transparent are they? Are they just trying to sell you the service or are they trying to understand what you actually need? And what's so funny is when we talk about your vacation home with people, I, you know, 7 out of 10 times are like, you really should just buy new furniture,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah,
that defeats everything that I'm doing for my business, but it's what's best for the person because I know it's the furniture that they have there is not going to fit nicely and they're not going to be happy with that. So
right.
it's really looking at what are we talking about? Are we talking about, oh, my, you know, of course I can do this and my services are the best and the cheapest and me. No, it's about what is it does the family need,
Right.
right? And what's honestly happening here? You
Mhm.
know, yeah, we can swipe a table and put all your stuff in a box and throw it in another box when we get there, sure. But guess
Yeah,
what's going to happen? Mom's going to be calling you and me and your brother and sister because she can't find anything,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So the same thing with, oh, let's do an estate sale. Sure, we'll sell your stuff. We'll sell it tomorrow. No. That's not going to be good for mom and dad, you know? That
Yeah.
grandfather clock that's been in your family that nobody wants, that's going to be devastating to sell in front of them.
Yes.
Right? So it's really interviewing the person or the company for what do they know about this transition and what are they trying to help you with? Are they trying
Yeah.
to help you to sell you or are they trying to help understand what you really need?
Exactly. 1,000%,
You know?
especially, you want this transition to go as easy as possible. I get families that often tell me like, "Oh, they're going to blame me." Well, don't have that mentality. Of course, they're probably going to say, you moved me here, you put me here, but why not make this an actual caring transition? Why not make this
Yeah,
something that's memorable?
right,
Yeah, you may pay a little more than the kid across the street that's going to use a truck and maybe, not take care of your items, or maybe they will, but use someone who has the compassion and the experience and understands because they're senior move specialists, and
right,
really pick and choose this moment to be memorable in a positive way, and not
right,
it's end of life, I'm going into a home stereotypical, you know,
right.
move. So
Yeah,
I'm so grateful for our partnership. I am so grateful that, our listeners and our families and the seniors who are listening to us today know that there's an option, even if it's just decluttering, even if you're not moving into
for
senior
sure,
living,
for sure.
still call your service and
Right,
help declutter and help sell some of those things and downsize your belongings
correct.
so that you're in a safe home, a safe
Right.
environment, avoiding those trip hazards and, aging in place no matter where you're at.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is that in the big picture too, we all know what COVID did. It all
Yeah.
made us know what isolation feels like, you know? But again, it's interesting because so many of these people that we talk to, the actual clients, are just really afraid to fit in, or they're just really afraid of most of the time the same type of thing. It's not even the moving or the stuff, but you got to get to know them a little bit. And I think that's what we do. And that's what's so special about us is that we get to know these people,
Yeah.
and then you really see what they need and it's like an experience. It makes the experience so much better because then you can cater to the person and then have your everybody else do the labor, do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's work together to keep helping these seniors and giving the families peace of mind. How can our listeners locate you? How can they contact you?
You guys can go to caringtransitionswinterpark.com. So we're Caring Transitions of Winter Park because we are a franchise. And then you can go to oncallmove.com. That is our moving company. You can call us at 407-543-2273. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you
Yes,
so much. It's been so fun working with you. Let's continue to help more seniors and families and make this an actual caring transition.
absolutely. I love it. Thank you, Veronica. This has been great.
Thank you.